Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. So welcome to the second feature match from Sorvent's non-meta tournament, round number 1. And if you're unfamiliar with non-meta tournaments, it's essentially a tournament following its own ban list with the majority of tier 1, 2, and 3, as well as like tier 3 rogue, whatever, same category, decks ban, as well as the majority of floodgates and combo cards banned to promote more of a healthy game. And yeah, that's essentially it. If you want more information, you can watch the previous video. I go a little bit more into depth about that, but that's just a quick overview of what the tournament is. So yeah, for today's video, I do have a very interesting feature match, and that is going to be Hao or Toshiro69 against Goofy Ghost, and he is on a Zing Metalfoes list, as well as Goofy Ghost is on a Crusadia list. So a very interesting match. If you do want to participate in these tournaments, you can actually join the link in the description below to join my Discord server, and there is going to be a tournament very, very soon. And yeah, you can join that, and there will be a its own ban list for that one, but it's going to be a very, very similar ban list to the one that you are currently seeing. Without further ado, let's get into this tournament. So it looks like Goofy Ghost is going to be winning the rock, paper, scissors, and he's going to be opting to go second, which is pretty standard for Crusadia lists. So that makes sense. So it looks like Hao is going to be starting off with a Zephyrath. By the way, I have not seen this match yet, so I'm going to be commentating it as I go along. With a couple of these, I do watch the feature match at least like semi, but in this one I have not seen it all. So excuse me if I am a little bit slow on these card effects resolving, but essentially Zephyrath is going to be using its effect to get the Zephyr Nui, and it's going to be copying its scale, so it is now a scale 7, and then he's going to be normal summoning Beyond Earth of the Zing. And while he does this, I'm actually going to pull up his deck list because I am curious just to see at his list. But essentially Silvered is going to probably target the Beyond here. Yeah, pop Beyond, that's what he says in the chat. So this is a really interesting thing. I really like the way that the Zing Metalfoes deck functions. I think it's a really cool, basically a really cool deck. And we're going to be learning a little bit about missing the timing in this deck, essentially. But it does not occur with this deck, which is one of the weird cases. I'm going to be quickly explaining it. So all of the Zing cards do have the card effect text that says when this card you control is destroyed by battle card effect. Essentially, that means that it has to respond directly to the destruction. It can't be a chain link 2 or higher destruction, otherwise it will miss the timing. It's a little hard for me to go into exact details with that, but basically the entire way that this deck works is because this card says "and if you do." If this card said, I think if it said then or also, all of these Zing cards would miss the timing, and they would actually effectively not be able to summon a second Zing monster from the deck, which is very interesting. But because it says "and if you do," that means that the destruction as well as the set is simultaneous. In the rulebook, that's essentially the words that they use. So because it's simultaneous, the destruction and the set are simultaneous, meaning that the Zing monster was the last thing. It was destroyed, which is the last thing to happen, which means it can trigger. But yeah, essentially that's what that means. So Silvered's going to pop the Bian, set the Metalfoes fusion, and then Bian's going to summon Jiaotu, and then he's going to pendulum summon for Zephyr Nui. Zephyr Nui is going to go ahead and trigger here to search for a copy of 9 Pillars of the Zing. So then he's going to essentially have one negate, as well as a search, because he's going to probably negate, destroy the Zephyr Nui, and then search for another Zephyr card from his deck to the hand. So Twin Twisters is going to be activated here, and he's going to be using the cost to discard the Reclusia, and that's going to be hit with a 9 Pillars of the Zing, and this is completely valid, I think, personally. Just Twin Twisters being able to clear basically the 2 monsters, or in this case it's going to be, or not monsters, spells and traps, but in this case it's going to be used to bait out this negate, which is a very, very smart thing, because then he could just follow up with his Crusadia plays. But yeah, Zephyr is going to search for the Zephyr Providence, which is a very strong play, being able to essentially protect your Zephyr scales as well as search for Zephyr cards, like a Zephyr Rhoda that protects, like it's pretty broken. Interrupted Kaiju's Slumber is going to be giving his opponent Dogoran in the zone under the extra monster zone, and then he's going to be summoning a Gamma Seal to his own field. So the interesting thing about this is that these monsters have to attack. I don't think, I assume it probably won't come up in this game, but it is important to note that these monsters have to attack. So if Goofy Ghost does enter the battle phase, this Gamma Seal has to attack before the battle phase can end. But yeah, and then Jatu is going to be triggering here to summon a Bixie from the deck, since I think that actually it does miss the timing. I believe that it does miss the timing because technically it was after the fact, but I don't think it's realistically going to matter. Maximus is going to be used to get into a Magius, and then it looks like the Crusadia Draco is going to be used to go ahead and add this Maximus from the grave, as well as using Magius to add an Arborea back or from the deck to the hand. Then he's going to link off into a Regalex. And then the Arborea is going to be summoned to the zone that Regalex points to, and then he can use the effect of Regalex to search for a Crusadia Speller Trap, which is Revival, which will give all of his Link monsters 500 attack, and the Crusadia Link monster, or if he targets a Crusadia Link monster, it can attack all monsters your opponent controls once each. Which is really interesting. So then he's going to be linking off the Regulus as well as the Arborea into a copy of Equimax. So Equimax is going to be basically the strong monster here. So all the Crusadias do have the effect that they gain attack equal to the combined original attack of all the monsters that they point to. So in this case, he's going to be gaining the attack of Dogoran, the attack of Gamma Seal, as well as the attack of Maximus. So in this case, this is 5,200 between these two monsters and 1,600 between the Maximus as well. So I believe, if I do my math correctly, that is 6,800 plus the attack from Equimax on his own, plus the attack from Revival. So like I said, this is 68, and then this is 8893. Okay. And then I believe Maximus can also use the effect. Oh, and also Revival is going to be targeting it so he can declare an attack on all of monsters his opponent controls. Maximus also gains, looks like you can target a Crusadia Link monster, and if it battles an opponent's monster, any damage it inflicts to your opponent is doubled. So 8,800 or 9,300 being able to double pierce or double do damage, that's going to be clearing this Dogoran, doing 6,300 just by itself, as well as, since you know it's double damage, that's game. Being 6,3, and yeah, it's over 12,000 damage if I did my math correctly. I think they did get the math wrong in the graveyard, or sorry, in the chat. The graveyard, I don't know what I'm saying. Anyways, it looks like Toshiro is going to be opting, it's the same person, is going to be opting for Goofy Ghost to go first, and he's going to start off with a Rhoda. So this Rhoda is going to be searching for Arborea. Unfortunately, he drew into the Gravedigger's Trap Hole, but I think that it's going to be okay. So, Forbid Skipper is going to be dropped down here to reveal Spoth out of the extra deck, turning it into a Crusadia monster, linking off into Magius, using Forbid Skipper to go ahead and search into a Parallelic Seed. Then he is going to be going ahead and using the Arborea to get this Magius, or under the Magius. And then he can use the effect of Magius to search for Draco, and he's going to link those off into a Regalex. Then he's going to be using Leonis to special summon itself, as well as use... Maybe he's not going to use the Parallax Seed? I guess that makes sense. But the Regalex is going to be adding Crusadia Rivals. And then he's going to be linking those off into an Equimax. And here's the Parallelic Seed. That makes sense. And it's going to be summoned down, as well as summoning a second one from the deck, making them both level 4. Then he can go ahead and overlay into a Abyss Dweller. And he's just going to pass on that, which I guess makes a little sense. I thought that this does have an effect that you contribute a Crusadia reward legacy monster. Yeah, you can. And then it targets a face-up monster Pokemon controls and negates its effects. So it's really interesting that he actually ended up not opting to use the Draco to summon itself, and then he could add like a Leonis or an Arborea or something back to his hand, and then he does have a negate with the Equimax. So it's a very interesting play that he actually opted not to do that, since it's essentially a free negate. So I'm not sure exactly. Or it does tribute, so I guess that's maybe why. So I guess Goofy Ghost is a little new to dueling, but because he doesn't know exactly how to detach material. These parallel exceeds aren't going to be doing anything in the graveyard, I assume, so I don't think it's going to matter either way. So he's just going to be putting a token on it, essentially signifying that a material's detached. I'm not sure why. Anyways, Jiaotu is going to be activated here, discarding 2 Yangzing monsters from the deck or from the hand, and he can summon 2 Yangzing monsters from the deck, one with 0 attack and one with 0 defense. So he's going to be summoning a Zephyr Nui as well as a Chiwen, and the Zephyr Nui is important because it doesn't trigger here, but you can still link it off, so that's what he's going to do. Actually, he's going to synchro into Boxia with an Earth and a Dark monster, which actually is going to be shuffling back this Equimax back into the deck. Really interesting here. If he would have used the Equimax, he actually could have played around this. First of all, by just stopping the Jiaotu altogether, and then Toshiro would be put in a very, very rough position. But since he didn't do that, since the Crusadia monster wasn't on the field, I guess it's yeah. So unfortunately, both of these monsters are going to be shuffled back into the extra deck. Shuffled quote. Silvered and Volflame are going to be scaled here to Pendulum Summon into the Zephyr Nui, which will search for a Zephyr Spell or Trap. He's going to be adding Zephyr Providence, which is going to be adding Zephyr Divine Strike, which is really good here because now he has 2 negates for free, essentially. So he can use the Yangzing, 9 Pillars of the Yangzing, and then immediately after use the Zephyr Divine Strike, since the Zephyr Nui will be in the extra deck. So that's really cool. Silvered's going to go ahead and pop the Volflame. Very interesting play. I don't know why it didn't pop the Chiwen here, since he does clear scales, but it does get him into the combination. So yeah, he's going to use the Boxia to go ahead and pop the Chiwen. Maybe not. Oh no, he's going to be popping the face down, and he's going to be targeting Jiaotu. So yeah, anyways, I'm not sure. Okay, he was just reading Abyss Dweller for some reason. I think he's just curious if it stops all cards in the graveyard. So actually, it will stop the combination here. I think that's what. Maybe that's why he didn't pop the Chiwen. I guess that makes sense. So they're just making sure if he can use the trap effect, which is a very smart play that he didn't see that, or did see that. But the Boxy is going to be shuffling back. I think that was the last back row. I'm not sure what the back row was. I kind of missed it altogether. But Glubion is going to be Z-summoned here. And he's going to be using the effect to go ahead and special summon Tachyon Dragon as well as Numeron Dragon. I think he's doing it the opposite direction. Oh, no. This is the same turn. I forgot completely about this. So, wow, he can actually use Numeron Dragon's effect to detach it. And it's going to be gaining 1,000 attack for each rank on the field. Wow. And since Draglubion's a level 8 and he's a level 1, that's 9,000 attack. And so he can actually just attack per game. I completely forgot that was... into turn number 2. For some reason I was thinking it was turn number 1. I guess it's because he cleared the entire board. But yeah, wow, breaking boards and attacking for game. That was really, really cool. Zephyr Providence is going to be activated here to search for Oracle of Zephyra. Then he's going to be using it to search for Zephrath. Then he's going to be scaling the Zephrath and using it to get into Zephyr Nui, making it a skill 7, but he's not pendulum summoning this turn, so it doesn't matter either way. Normal summoning Beyond and setting the 9 pillars of the Yang Zing. He's going to be ending his turn at that. Kyoto Waterfront is going to be activated here in the main phase, and then the Interrupted Dragon, or Kaiju Slumber, is going to be activated here, and 9 pillars is going to be chained. And since 2 cards were sent to the grave, Kyoto Waterfront's going to get 2 counters, and this Interrupted Kaiju Slumber should be shuffled into the deck, Hopefully he doesn't use the Grave effect later. Oh, yep, so we do fix that. That's perfect. Then Format Skipper is going to be activated here. And I'm not sure why the Beyond didn't trigger. I'm unsure. I don't know. Format Skipper is going to be revealing Spothus, summoning Magius, then using the effect to search for Parallel Exceed. He can then go ahead and use the Crusadia Leonis to special summon to his own Magius points to, search for Draco, and then sync or link into Regulex, then use Draco to summon under the Regulex, and then use Draco to... I think he searched the wrong one. Yeah, so he searched for the wrong one. But he's going to be searching the Crusadia Revival here, so the game state is fixed. And then the Draco is going to be adding the Leonis from the grave back to the hand. And he's going to be linking off into a Crusadia Equimax, activating a Revival. I'm not sure. He definitely could have used Waterfront to search for a Kaiju. I guess he just missed it. Parallel Exceed is going to be summoned down here. I think he technically missed the window, but I don't think it realistically matters. Then he's going to be going into Dweller yet again, and into Arborea, and this is going to be sitting at, how much attack is this? 5,000, I think? I think that's 5,000 attack. 55? How's it 55? I'm actually not sure. Something gaining attack somehow? I don't think so. Maybe not, I don't know. Okay, yeah. So they did fix that in the chat below. Anyways, so he does have a Metalfoes counter that he drew too, which is kind of interesting since he can basically play through this. Doesn't one of them give piercing? Okay, it's Leonis that gives piercing, so that's really interesting. Zephyr is going to be activated here, and then it's going to be putting the Zephyr in the extra deck and ending his turn at that, since he can't really pendulum summon. Gamma Seal is going to be tributing over this Swanee, which is pretty much sealing the deal because, yeah, the Equimax is, if it's actually at 5,000, I think he actually still survives, actually. I think he'll be left with 200 points, and then the Metalfoes counter can come down, but I think the Revival could maybe kill through that. But I definitely think that he still had enough life points to survive. But he did admit defeat, so unfortunately that is going to be doing it for this match. So I hope you guys enjoyed this game. And like I said before, if you are interested in playing this, you can join the link in the description below to play in tournaments very, very similar to this one. And yeah, in the next match, I'm going to be telling you guys real quick, I think that we are going to be seeing another Zing Metalfoes as well as ABC. So I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you guys then.